On today's show, Minnesota Bound hits the road to celebrate one of our state's great outdoor destinations. Today, we highlight the river town of Red Wing, a city full of outdoor fun.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hi everybody, Bill, Millie, and I welcome you to a very special edition of Minnesota Bound.
Absolutely. We are here in Bay Point Park in downtown Red Wing. What a day. We've got the Mississippi River, we've got Barn Bluff. Minnesota Bound hit the road.
It sure did, and a couple times a year we hope to visit your town to share a few of our favorite Minnesota Bound stories.
We're going to start today with you. You're going to take a tour showing off Red Wing's outdoor scene.
Today we're going to explore the charm and adventure of Red Wing, Minnesota. We're going to start with a wild ride on the Mississippi.
Hey Laura.
Hello.
Welcome aboard Red Wing Bald Eagle Tours. I'm Captain Brian Clawwood. Oh yeah, they're halfway in the trees.
Oh, I see them.
Okay, watch them for whiteheads.
Woo. So, Captain Brian, how long have you been doing this Eagle Tour?
About 5-6 years now.
Beautiful. What will people see on the tour, and how long is it?
Well, it's normally about 2 hours. I don't really pay attention, so it could be 3 whenever people want to go back in. And they see eagles for sure. And it is a flyway too. It's one of the biggest flyways in the United States. We started in April, and it kind of depends upon the year if there's flooding and so on, but then it finishes in our first week in November.
And is there a best time of year to see eagles?
Yes, anytime.
Good answer, good answer. And actually, I'm gonna see if I have an eagle eye myself today. Let's see. Is that one up there?
You are very good at spotting eagles.
So Captain Brian, these nests that we're seeing along the river are massive. How much do they weigh? Like, how big are these nests?
They can be up to 1,000 pounds.
Whoa.
And some of them are about the size of a car, 6 feet wide, and they're huge. Well, did you see enough eagles today?
We saw a lot of eagles, a lot of eagles. Thank you for taking us out today.
I
That was
normally
really
have
cool.
a counter, but I forgot about it.
I think we lost track. We saw so many. Up next, we're stepping back into history at the Pottery Museum of Red Wing. This place houses over 6,000 pieces of artisan-crafted stoneware dating all the way back to the 1800s. You may be wondering, what's the connection to Red Wing and pottery? In fact, back in 1861, clay pits were discovered just 8 miles out of town. Our third stop on the tour takes us to the legendary Red Wing Shoe Company store, home to the world's largest boot, size 638 and a half, a shoe perfect for Paul Bunyan. Upstairs is a museum where you can explore over a century of bootmaking history. And downstairs is the store where you can snag yourself a pair of these iconic boots. Gary, there's a wonderful outdoor scene here in Red Wing. Do you have any suggestions for things for people to see and do when they're here?
Well, for visitors that come here, whether they want to live here, they want to work here, they want to play, we have the river behind us. It's a beautiful facility in all of our parks that we have, all of our trails that we have. If you want a bike ride, if you want a mountain bike, if you want to play disc golf or regular golf, or just come and enjoy the river, it's wonderful. We welcome everyone to come to Red Wing and just see how wonderful our little town is.
From eagle tours to pottery treasures, iconic booths, and also this breathtaking bluff at Memorial Park, Red Wing is certainly a destination for any Minnesota adventure.
Coming up, we hit the trail with a rail-inspired piece of outdoor fun.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Star Bank, Rapid Marine Family of Dealerships, and by Busch Light.
Do you know your water score? When it comes to your home's water, we know you may have questions. Whether it's city or well, find out what's in your water with a free water analysis. Treat yourself to cleaner, softer laundry, spotless dishes, and worry-free drinking water when you upgrade to Connecticut, the world's most efficient water treatment system, and save up to 25% during our Spring Into Savings sale. Visit us online at Connecticut.com to find a dealer near you. Life is better with Connecticut Water.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. If you encounter one wolf, chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of
Nothing beats memories made on the water. Time to make your own. Start now with a visit to Rapid Marine's family of dealerships, your ultimate resource for Lund boats. Rapid Marine sells more Lund boats than any other dealership in the country. Depend on inventory and expertise and the best service around. A great selection of pre-owned boats too. Visit Rapid Marine's 4 locations or check us out online at rapidmarine.com.
Ron here. Just thinking about fishing, thinking about why Star Bank is our bank at Ronchero Productions. You see, Star Bank is family owned, therefore you are treated like family. Call Star Bank, a person answers. Walk into Star Bank, they know your name. Star Bank is growing, now 11 locations in Minnesota. The latest is in Hancock and Stevens County. Yeah, Star Bank makes you feel good in many ways, just like a fish on the end of my line. Oh yeah.
Member FDIC. The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. In unpredictable conditions, pack layers, both for your body and your beer. Head for the mountains.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our Minnesota Bound Hits the Road special.
Yeah, just north of Red Wing, the Canon River dumps into the Mississippi River.
And along that river is a 20-mile stretch of what once was the old Chicago Great Western Railroad.
Yeah, and now it is an incredible trail system, properly documented by our photojournalist, Pete Herman Franzen.
We are at the Cannon Valley Trail, which is a 20-mile paved recreation trail, which goes from Cannon Falls to Red Wing, Minnesota. The railroad was abandoned in 1983, and a group of citizens at that point got together, raised funds, got local governments to join in, and they created the Joint Powers Board, which operates the trail. The trail was dedicated in 1986. The 3 units of government need some sort of funding to help them out. They require a wheel pass from April 1st through October, and you can buy a day pass for $7 or a season pass for $30.
You know, it's the best investment of $30 I could have in my mental health, physical health, social health, connecting with people, nature. I'm a resident of Cannon Falls, and I've lived there since 1992. I love that it's so scenic, right along the Canon River. It's beautiful. I enjoy that it's not rigorous. I mean, that the grade, of course, that there aren't great steep hills, either up or down. Almost always you'll see some wildlife, whether it's deer or eagles. There are often wild turkeys, sometimes some trumpeter swans.
The trail is about 20 miles long. The entire trail is pretty well shaded. So it does open up once in a while to prairie areas. And we maintain those prairies by doing some prairie burns during the fall or spring. We have 19 bridges. Some of the bridges right now are from the railroad era, so they're close to 100 years old. The reason I created the guest book is because I was a person that went up to the Superior hiking trail. And I would hike down the trail and get to a campsite, and they'd have a little booklet there, and people would sign their name, where they were from, and I'm like, that would be a cool idea for the trail. If you come down to the Welch Station Access, sign that book, and put a comment in there of what you think.
The trail is well maintained. Thankful for the people that make it such a great resource.
Still ahead, we highlight Red Wing's historic trout fishing heritage. But first, a storied spot here in town where the outdoors and art intersect.
Closed captioning provided by Flow Docks and Lifts.
Flow aluminum dock systems are made to bring time at the lake to a whole new level. You can create any layout you want and accessorize it for comfort and fun. They're strong, stable, safe, and they add a beautiful touch to your shoreline that will last for a very long time. Maybe it's time to join the thousands of other families that have turned their dock into a shoreline paradise. Maybe it's time for a Flow.
Welcome back to our Minnesota Bound Hits the Road special in Red Wing, Minnesota.
You know, this town is so full of both character and history.
And you see it before you even get into town.
Yeah, that's exactly why Travis Frank pulled over at a sculpture garden on the edge of town to discover how a 100-year-old family farm has impacted this town's outdoor legacy.
When you drive south into Red Wing, Minnesota on Highway 61, there's a tower on the left that might catch your eye.
Welcome to the beautiful Tower View Historic Site, built by A.P. Anderson as his working farm, family home, and research laboratory between 1915 and 1922.
That water tower remains a monumental fixture in the Anderson family story.
At its peak, an 1,100-acre farm and produced 95% of its own food.
Today, this farm is a work of art.
We have sculptors, writers, musicians, painters creating work here every day.
Visitors can tour galleries both inside and out.
Welcome to the Anderson Center.
Come on in.
Thank you.
We are here in our main building, and there is art everywhere here. So this is a pretty eclectic collection.
Yeah,
Most
I'd
of
say.
these works I would describe as works by modern masters from the US and Europe, but there are also a lot of local tie-ins.
This is cool. Look at that.
Yeah, this is ceramic work by Al Holin, who was an artist in residence here.
I think it's cool that you have, you know, such a variety of artists. I mean, you have a Picasso, and then you have a local artist, you know, right next to it.
The argument of this collection is that these artists belong together. And
Stephanie Rogers manages the creative culture on this property, along with the people who make it.
Since 1995, we have been an artist community focused on supporting arts and ideas for the people here in the Red Wing area, across the state of Minnesota, and ultimately we've had over 900 artists and residents who've come from all over the world to spend time working on creative projects here.
I really want to touch this one because it looks like that's cardboard.
It is cardboard. That's part of what's cool about this, is this whole realistic Triceratops head is just made out of cardboard and spray paint.
This art community traces way back to A.P. Anderson, a farmer with creative ideas.
But his real claim to fame is that he figured out how to produce puffed wheat and puffed rice. It was the world's first shelf-stable breakfast cereal.
So the owner of this place was the person that created the first cereal that we know today.
Correct.
A.P.'s son loved art, which ultimately paved the way to all these galleries.
Here, it's completely open-ended for the artist.
Outside, a 1-mile trail weaves through 11 acres of blue stem grass, oak trees, and sculptures. Local artist Pete Driesen spent his residency on site building a piece called Wing Dams.
What I've done is reworked it into a series of wedges and chevrons, and it's made with dolomite limestone, which comes from the quarry just down the river in Winona, Minnesota.
The Anderson Sculpture Garden is free to the public and open 365 days a year.
This is one of those gems of a site where sculptors would just die to have their work. It is a remarkable historic land site.
A landmark in Red Wing, Minnesota that impacts artists all over the world.
Because this place is a really inspiring piece of American history and Minnesota history.
The Anderson Art Center. To find it, just take Highway 61 to Red Wing, Minnesota, and look for the tower on your left.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Rapala, Premier Marine, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
No matter how you do water, there's a Premier pontoon for you. Because Premier pontoons are the best riding, best built, and have the best technology in the industry, with countless floor plans to choose from and exclusive award-winning innovations like Revolution seating and Troll and Stow. So whether you're looking for your first pontoon or your next, look to Premier.
Welcome back to Minnesota Bound Hits the Road in Red Wing, Minnesota.
You know, many of my first trout fishing adventures happened on a very special stream in this town.
In fact, it's a stream right over there, and it's called Hay, a piece of moving water that's full of history.
Gravity pulls perpetually at spring-fed creeks. Such is the history of Hay, a meandering cold water stream on the outskirts of Red Wing.
Oh, awesome.
This place, so revered by those who chase trout in Minnesota's pretty places.
Fish like this don't live in ugly places. They live in beautiful places.
Hay Creek, a historic watershed with a story to share. See, time was never always kind to the creek. Look closely and history reveals its secrets. These pilings, remnants of a long ago rail line that once was. See, the Chicago Great Western Railway connected the river city of Red Wing to nearby Rochester. Hay Creek's valley provided a suitable path for the train. Meanwhile, the stream earned the name Hay due to all the agricultural fields that also bordered the water. More than a century of development and intense farming hindered Hay Creek's ability to flourish.
Well, that was a hit.
Did you get bumped?
Yeah.
Tony Nelson hopes he and fellow Trout Unlimited volunteers might change the course of Hay Creek's somewhat cloudy history.
Number one focus, clean water, because it benefits everybody.
A goal more than 2 decades in the works.
That's the last thing you expect to see out here on a trout stream.
Twin Cities Trout Unlimited led several Hay Creek restoration projects. Back in 2011, we documented the team clearing and rebuilding heavily eroded sections of Hay Creek.
We want clean, healthy water.
That's the whole point right there.
Yep.
This project stabilized sections of the creek, and Trout Unlimited tried to boost fish habitat with artificial structures.
Now we can set this into a stream bank. It creates space that the fish can actually get in underneath.
That was then, this is now.
The golden age of trout fishing in Minnesota is right now.
Tony Nelson's Trout Unlimited team recently completed another of the stream's rehab chapters.
We restored basically almost 9,000 feet of stream. We've narrowed the creek down and sped the water up so it gets colder. We plant 6 acres of prairie for every mile. And that stabilizes the banks. Those roots will go down 10, 15 feet. Helping the local community is really, really important.
And providing access for people who want to celebrate and share in Hay Creek's legacy.
Within, for most people, 20-minute, half-hour drive from the city. And that's what it's all about. There's a lot of fish in here.
I understand and appreciate that part of Hay Creek's story. But the tale is bigger than fish. It's about doing what's right by the land and understanding that a ribbon of moving water can help define a region. That is a good thing. And that is why Hay Creek's future appears bright.
What we're doing benefits much more people than just the fly fishermen.
What a place. I am actually headed over there as soon as we wrap up today.
That sounds fun. But we want to certainly thank all the great people in the community of Red Wing for helping make our Minnesota Bound Hits the Road special happen.
Yeah, unfortunately we are out of time, but if you have an idea for our next stop, you should shoot us a message. Until next week, remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
And introduce them to Red Wing.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.